Hello, everyone. It's a great honor to be here with you at NGINX Conf. Really thankful for the NGINX crew from bringing up this awesome event and NGINX Conf 2019. My name is Carlos Ponce, and today we will be talking about how moving away from monolithic applications into cloud-native apps using NGINX can help you break apart your corporate siloed platforms. And we will see how you can use NGINX to bridge the gaps between those corporate silos, establishing a cloud-native approach while giving your customers valuable tools, enabling them to accomplish great things, right? So a brief introduction about me and the teams that I work with. I was born and raised in Tijuana, Mexico. And on Tijuana, we have a shared culture with Southern California. So basically, I grew up watching cartoons in English. I watched The Simpsons, and I'm thankful for that because that's the reason why I learned English, actually. And from an early age, I've had a strong passion for technology. I love taking apart my PCs and putting them back together, installing Linux on them, different distributions, just messing around with them. And my first job was actually in an internet cafe. And there I administered the local network. I managed, they gave maintenance to the PCs. And I also listened to some awesome music, by the way. And I've been in various IT areas. I worked as a tech support agent. I've been a database analyst. I have also been in a network operations center as a NOC engineer for some time. And then I moved on to being a software engineer for startups and companies in the healthcare industry. Now, recently, I am a product owner at ThermoFisher Scientific. Now, ThermoFisher is probably the largest company you've never heard of. They have been serving science for over 100 years. They have over 70,000 employees all over the world. And they enable them to make the world healthier, cleaner, and safer. So ThermoFisher has several IT centers around the world, here in the US also. And around 4 years ago, they founded an IT center in Tijuana, Mexico, just across San Diego. And they began with only 3 employees at the time. And it has grown now to host over 200 bright and talented software engineers and data scientists. So the type of work that they do is really interesting, and the technologies. They make use of AI, machine learning, VR, IoT, and of course, cloud-native technologies. Now, I began there as a full-stack software engineer around 2.5 years ago. And around 1 year, I transitioned over to being a product owner. And I work right now with 2 awesome Scrum teams. And the things that they do is that they take advantage of cloud-native technologies to bring value to our customers. So let's take a look at our agenda. So, by the way, if you see references to Star Wars, it's coincidental. I do not want to get sued. So in the first one, a Cloud Hope, we begin analyzing the problem, right, with large companies, right? They tend to maintain large monolithic applications, and it has around them siloed platforms that prevent them from enabling continuous delivery of features, right? And we will see the basic steps for a digital transformations for those companies in this section. On the monolith strikes back, we will see a couple of strategies from NGINX that can help you transition over those monoliths over to a microservices architecture, right? How can NGINX help you with this? And on return of the Agile, we will see the importance of Agile methodologies and DevOps, right? So also here we'll explore how NGINX can help you with your DevOps, right? And lastly, on the Cloud Awakens, we will see how ThermoFisher is doing this. I will demo you one product from one of the teams that I work with that actually managed to deliver value while other teams decompose monoliths, right? So let's begin with a Cloud Hope. So traditional large corporations tend to maintain large monolithic applications. And they do drive a good amount of revenue, right, to the business. And it's a good thing, right, because the money is coming in. You don't want to mess with those systems. They're stable, right? But usually, they are tied down to complex siloed platforms. And by siloed platforms, we mean release management, project management, IT operations, right? They get in the way of development processes. So these issues, when they are combined with a poor agile or null agile culture, and they present challenges to those corporations to actually achieve continuous delivery and delivering value of new features to their customers. So this causes them to miss key time to market windows. So today we will talk about, again, how to move away from monolithic applications into cloud-native apps using NGINX, and how it can help you break apart those silos, right? And on this starter talk, we will see how you can use NGINX to bridge the gaps between those corporate silos, establishing a cloud-native approach. Okay, so the key takeaways from this talk will be to understand the benefits of breaking away from those monolithic applications and siloed platforms, right? And we will have a clear picture of the basic steps for a digital transformation at your company. So to perform this type of digital transformation, you gotta follow at least these basic steps, right? You gotta, of course, plan your strategy. Your organization should be wary of diving headfirst, right, without a proper plan in place. So you gotta have constant talks with your architects. You gotta analyze if it's really worth the effort of doing this, right? If it makes sense for your organization to do this. You gotta implement an agile culture and mindset throughout your company. So otherwise, it will not really reap the benefits of this transition. So the first step to do that will be to align your organization's vision, its purpose, and the people throughout the company to appreciate really the benefits of having a cloud-native approach in the core of the business. And if you are to embark on this journey, which is a really long journey, that is moving away from monolithic applications into cloud-native architectures, you gotta break apart those silos in favor of DevOps, right? So let's go ahead with the monolith strikes back. So when you're planning to embark on a journey, on a big journey, like it is to embark on moving away from your monoliths, it's always good practice to take a step back and remind ourselves where we come from, right? Where we come from. This is to learn from past mistakes so that we can take better decisions, and also to take other people's mistakes and actually learn from them, right? So the DevOps handbook does this very well because they begin analyzing the manufacturing revolution of the 80s. So anyone remember the 80s? No? The Cure, Smiths? Yeah, awesome bands. So during that time, there was a core conflict on those organizations. Basically, they had a problem with having on-time shipments and controlling costs, and those acted as silos, and they were conflicting with each other, right? And by that time, lean principles emerged, and it helped them with having higher quality, having greater customer service, customer feedback, and getting more productivity out of their plants, right? So the organizations that actually embraced those principles started to win the marketplace, right? And in opposed to those that didn't, who started to lose market share or even went out of business entirely. So why are we talking about this? I'm gonna quote Spider-Man right now. So with higher quality comes greater responsibility. And similarly, the bar has been raised for delivering technology products and services with the help of DevOps and cloud computing, right? So we see here the timeline. So during the 70s to 80s mainframe era, we would have a cycle time of software from 1 to 5 years. And the risks were high because the whole company would be in risk if at the end of the day, the product or service would fail, right? Those were really high stakes. Now, moving on to the 90s era, on the client-server era, the cycle time went down from 3 to 12 months, iterations of new software, and the risks were lowered as well, right? So in this era, if the corporate division failed at their deliverables, they would have a revenue miss and the CIO's job, by the way. And now on the cloud computing era, we see the same trend, but now we see a cycle time of 2 to 12 weeks, iterations of continuous delivery of new features, right? And the risks are low because they are negligible, right? So you see the trend here. It's really clear. It all comes down to faster deployments, reliable deployments of new features. Now, one great example is Amazon. So Amazon, in 2011, they were doing 7,000 deployments to production per day, right? And on 2015, they accomplished 130,000 deployments per day. It's just amazing, right? So in contrast, we have those companies that have large monolithic applications that fail at continuous delivery of new features. So the issue is crystal clear, right? When new features are wanted on those monoliths, they can't be delivered on time. And that's the issue. So in today's age, we all know that organizations take advantage of having faster time to market, right? And having constant experimentation and constant feedback from their customers. So how can NGINX help you with that? So we all know that NGINX has been around ever since the microservices movement started. It's high performance, lightweight, flexible nature, makes it a great fit for microservices, right? And one of the biggest changes in application design and architecture when you're moving away from to microservices is that you're using the network to communicate your functional components. So on monolithic applications, the communication happens in memory. But when you move on to microservices architecture, that communication happens over the network. So network design and implementation are critical. And that's the reason why NGINX has brought up the microservices reference architecture that is available for you to use. And it's basically 3 models of networking that you can use to migrate over your monolithic applications or to start off new greenfield projects. So let's begin analyzing the first one. So the first one is a simple networking model that is suitable for implementing NGINX as a controller or as an API gateway to manage your microservices application. So this one will be a good starting point if you have a fairly not too complex monolithic application that you want to transition over to a microservice architecture. That will be a good step. Now, please note that this one is not scalable, right? And by scalable, we mean that if you're planning to have a large number of microservices or you're planning to have a large network traffic, this will not scale, right? It's not good enough. This is just to get you started. If you have those requirements, you can move on to the next one, which is the router mesh model. So this one is a more robust approach to networking. It has NGINX running load balancing on each host, and it manages the connections between the systems. So this one will be a great fit for a monolith that's fairly complex that you want to transition over. You can use this one. And finally, we have the fabric model. So this model has NGINX in each container, and it handles all ingress and egress traffic. And it works really well for high-load systems, and because it provides reduced latency, persistent connections, SSL/TLS connections, and service discovery, right? So there you have it. We have 3 models that you can use to get you started, right, on your migration path. Now, to get more information about this, I recommend you search for Chris Stetson's work called Introducing the Microservices Reference Architecture from NGINX. And also recommend you read up on Chris Richardson's Refactoring a Monolith into Microservices, where he applies Martin Fowler's Strangler method to decompose monoliths. So, return of the Agile. So at this point of the presentation, you might be wondering, why is there a slide for Agile, right? Is the speaker just trying to fill in time? Is trying to put on some cool buzzwords like Agile, DevOps, silos, Pikachu? No, well, kinda. But there's a point to all of this, is that to take advantage of the benefits of cloud-native apps and architecture, we have to have in place continuous delivery pipelines, right? So that deployments to productions are faster and reliable. And this can be achieved with Agile methodologies and DevOps principles and practices. So having a company-wide Agile culture and mindset will help your organization benefit, right, from increased business value, improved flexibility and responsiveness, so you can experiment and test out new ideas, get constant feedback from your customers, get those releases out to them as soon as possible. And having DevOps principles and practices will help you remove the barriers to continuous delivery so that your ideas and new features get to market faster. Okay, so how can NGINX help you with that? So for DevOps, NGINX offers you customizable monitoring to give you live feedback on your application status. It can give you a JSON feed of status metrics that can be incorporated into your deployment pipelines. And for continuous deployment, NGINX offers dynamic reconfigurations, letting you automate the discovery of backend service. And finally, NGINX can also give you flexibility, so you can automate configurations with DevOps tools like Chef, Puppet, or Ansible. So we're not gonna dive in too much on this, but for an in-depth analysis on how NGINX can help you with DevOps, I suggest you can start with Kunal Pariani and Floyd Smith's DevOps Automation with NGINX and NGINX Plus. And you can also check out Kevin Jones introducing CI/CD with NGINX and NGINX Plus at the NGINX site. So before we move on, let's get one thing straight. So the adoption of Agile methodologies does not indicate success, because large corporations tend to embrace water scrum fall methods instead. So what do I mean with this? Is that if your development teams are doing Scrum, but nothing else in your organization changes, you're not an Agile company, right? So to realize the benefits of cloud-native apps and architectures, you gotta have proper Agile methodologies and DevOps principles in place. And finally, if your company has monolithic applications under the scrutiny of siloed platforms that are preventing it from reaching market, you must carefully plan for the shift and evaluate if it's the right thing to do for your company, right? If it makes sense, if it's worth the effort. And you gotta ask yourself one important question. Does my company's ideas, are they difficult to test out and release to my customers? So if you've answered yes, you gotta focus your plan on your customer's experience so that you empower them with features that provide the most business value. Right, so this brings us up to the last part of our session, the Cloud Awakens. So how is ThermoFisher doing this? So the teams that I work with, they have developed and maintained cloud-native apps in the ThermoFisher Cloud platform. So ThermoFisher Cloud delivers the foundational services to accelerate the development and delivery of scientific SaaS applications. It currently holds over 40 specialized scientific apps. And ThermoFisher Cloud integrates the digital assets of the company in both service-oriented services and user experience to drive value to our customers. So many teams participate in enabling ThermoFisher Cloud through a coordinated definition and delivery of features. And by standardizing services, ThermoFisher's leadership has freed development teams to focus on delivering the value to their customers and have provided a foundation to build a consistent user experience. Now, to a proper introduction to ThermoFisher Cloud, so as you can view Mark Field's presentation on AWS Summit Chicago on 2015, where he gives an excellent walkthrough on how ThermoFisher Cloud improves collaboration for scientists in a safe, secure, and compliant manner. So in a moment, I will demo one product from one of the teams that I work with called Product 360. I'm just gonna leave this basic diagram of it there for a while. So this one actually solves one common issue on large companies. And while doing so, they manage to deliver value to our customers while other teams decompose monoliths. So the services that you see up there, they were broken out of monolithic apps and they were made available to the Product 360 app. And Product 360 uses them to acquire valuable information for our customers. So a very common issue on large corporations is that they usually have monolithic applications that handle their e-commerce solution, right? Such monoliths do have resources that have high business value. For example, they have product catalogs, digital assets that are related to the product, and of course the ability to purchase them, right? Among other benefits. So when you decompose those monoliths, you can find creative ways to deliver valuable tools to your customers. Now, I have on my mobile phone ThermoFisher's Product 360 installed. And Product 360, as I told you, is a mobile app that allows a ThermoFisher Cloud user to conveniently check information about a ThermoFisher product. It is designed for bench scientists, as it allows them to easily scan a product label to promptly acquire access to all relevant digital assets and content. So let me show you how this works. And I'm going to pull up some sample QR codes. 1 second. Let me go ahead and open up Product 360. Here we have it. And we can scan the QR code, and it will do what you expect it to do. It pulls up the information about this product. And you can put it as your favorite. You can see images of it that are related to it. Oh, no. Oh, sorry. Thank you for that. I'm going to put it over there on the screen so you can see it. Awesome. Thank you. Sorry for that. You're wondering how it worked, right? Okay, so let me scan it again. So, okay, here it is. So here's the scanning. You see the images right there. And you see the title of the product. You can mark it as a favorite. You have the description of it, the specification. You have documents that are related to it, and you can view them in the same browser, document preview on the app itself. You can share it if you want to. Of course, you can purchase it. And we have a recent scans there. Note that we have right now two filters, and those two filters are basically different services, right? And I have my favorites here. You can see this one has more specifications to it. There's even a brochure to it attached to it. And you will see information about it. Okay, it's loading up. The internet is not really good right now for me. Okay, so let's get back to the presentation. So as you saw, this mobile app gets all products available, digital assets for each product service. And of course, there's an API gateway there in the middle. And so with this tool, our customers don't need to go online, right, and search for this themselves. So what's the benefit of this? It's time. Time is valuable, right? And if we can, well, I will show you the types of search on Google or Bing or Yahoo, Alta Vista, whatever. And imagine yourself having to search for mouse, LG, G1, kappa, isotope control, e-bioscience, or 20 microliter barrier pipette tip, micropoint low retention, sterile hinge rack, right? So imagine that, and you guys thought that you had it difficult trying to search on Google 418 status code. Does anyone know what 418 status code is? No? Look it up. Oh, you do? No? Okay. Okay, well, so what's the outcome of all of this? So with this tool, we save our customers time. That is valuable. Why? Because the types of research that they do. So this is just a sample of the types of research that our customers do with ThermoFisher's products and services. They do genetic disease research. They do food safety research, human identification, stem cell research. Right? Those are really great researches. And so basically our customers are scientists, right? That have a strong passion for science, of course, but have a good heart. And you can see that because of the type of research that they are doing. And if we can save them time that is valuable, we're doing something great. So what's the outcome of all of this? So to sum up everything up, we have, with this strategy, we are continuing to deliver our customers valuable tools that enable them to make the world healthier, cleaner, and safer. Right. Thank you, everyone. This is a list of references that I took off. And this is me. You can contact me after happy hour if you want to. And that's it. Thank you, everyone.